Okie dokie, I'm doing my second part of the bottle finds of the my new bottle find in the neighborhood, and just gonna get right to it and waste no time. So let's get started with this one. I found two of these so far. In fact, I still have them up here on the table. That's now I gotta get a tote to organize these in. But just another one of these simple amber jars. And when I get to it, I'll get to that. Something with the glass maker companies, because I've been making erroneous mistakes with some of these glass makers, and I'll try to actually correct that in this video, because I've been messing that up. So hopefully I won't be doing that anymore. Yeah, just like the other two, simple amber jar with just those markings on the side. Nothing to really see, particularly, whatever. These have the same numbers on them. F1, nope. Dates are different. This one has a 3. But then the F is flipped upside down. So I guess made at different times. But yeah, needless to say, nothing too exciting with this one. So I'll just go on ahead and end that one. Get to this. I said I wouldn't normally collect these ones anymore, but I had kind of a different style piece up here. Neck lipping lid piece section up here. Kind of interesting. So I kind of kept it. I don't think there's anything. It's a big bubble. Or it might be damage. No, that's just a bubble with some waves. So that's pretty much that bottle. And this here is what I'm talking about. This is the Owens Glass Company. I'm no longer gonna make the mistake with an I and an oval and a diamond and an I. Those are the same company and always have been. But this is the actual Owens Glass Company. Why it took me so long to catch that, I don't know why. Guess it's because I honestly don't think I have seen too many of this glass makers embossing until this spot, actually, which kind of created the confusion a little bit more. But yeah, just an Owens Glass Company bottle. Couldn't tell you how old it is. Most of the stuff in this area seems to be about roughly 1930s and lower, for reasons I'll show later. So actually I wonder if this spot, being a rain drain area where rainwater runs through, washed up a bunch of bottles and accumulated these over a course of many years. So, because there's so many different ages of bottles in this spot, it makes me wonder. Now, I actually don't know why I kept this one. I might have accidentally picked this one up and brought it home, but since it's here, might as well. Nothing at all particularly special about this one. Just a 4. Nothing going on. Yeah, I don't know why I even have this one. Kind of silly. But I'm trying to get these more simple ones out of the way. Try to have some sort of system here where I get the whatever ones out of the way and then kind of work my way up to the better ones. So here's this one. This one's, I think, on the older side. Some bubbles, some glass waves. This seems kind of weird. Actually, the seam looks pretty okay on this one. But I mainly kept this one because it had the diamond and an eye logo on it, which I believe to be an older embossing at one point, but it seems like this glass maker used two different ones periodically. I guess something of the sort like that. I read it on some website, some glass wizard website, but it was kind of confusing for some reason. Didn't, because I should stop scanning over things and actually read it more. But this has the diamond in an eye, so I kept it because I always believed that to be an older embossing. I'll have to start taking this glass stuff a bit more seriously if I'm going to keep showing this stuff, because for obvious reasons. Don't want to like mislead anybody or give them the wrong information, which is pretty much what I've done up to this point, and probably still might to some point until I really get this stuff dialed in. It's hard to see the eye, but it's in there. And yeah, that's pretty much that one. Again, get these simple ones out of the way. Pretty much the same as the last one. Got a lot of bubbles in the glass. So I'd wager it's probably a bit on the older side. Nothing really to see on it. Besides, we got the diamond in an eye again, with a 7 this time. That's really about it. It's the only reason why I kept it, because of that diamond in an eye logo. And let's see. Guess I go on ahead and get this one out of the way. Found another one of these bottles that have the blue color to it. From this is more like an aqua green. The other one's more blue, I think. I've shown one somewhat similar to this in another video. I think from a bottle I found out in South Oak Park. I mean, I got so many bottles going on, I can't even keep track of them anymore. But yeah, nothing too particularly special going on with this one either. Kind of wonder why I kept it. I guess at first I thought it was more blue because it was dark when I found it. But oh well, I have it, so I might as well show it. Just 11 on it. Pretty sure that's just an 11. I don't think anything else was going on there. Unless it's just a messed up embossing. So that one's done already. Let's see. Let's go to this one, I guess. This one's slightly more interesting, at least. Nothing really to work with on the sides. Oh, never mind, I lied. There's that. 5001. Try to get that captured more, but it's kind of tricky. Well, there's a 5001. And it's just an Owens Glass Company. Is that something inside the bottle still? Yeah, something inside the bottle. There looks like some kind of stain or something. It just looks weird through the glass. But yeah, just a simple Owens Glass Company bottle. Little container here. Kind of like the shape of it being small like this and all. Okay, let's see. Guess I can go to this one. And all this feels like, most of this, what I've shown so far, has been fairly thick, clear glass. It's not like newer, thin stuff. This is pretty thick, solid, clear glass. as you can probably tell by the brimming and the colors when they show the bottoms and stuff. They've been thick and they're fairly heavy. Got pretty hefty weight to them for their size. This has C304. Guess I can indicate the date maybe on this bottle. This is an Owen, Illinois glass company bottle. There's a 1 here, 7, and another 1. Just the patent applied for. So these definitely look like they're on the older side, at least, for even clear glass. Here's a thread top. Here's the same. No, I know I haven't been showing those a whole lot, but probably need to start focusing on those again. This shows it's machine made. Really, all this one indicates. The seam goes all the way up. So yeah. Let's get on. Let's get this one out of the way. I have, let me see, 1, 2. Yeah, this will be my third one of these. And I found another one, but I left it because it had some cracks in it. I would have cleaned this residual material out of it, but it actually looks like gold dust in there. Very strange. Like, if you've ever seen gold and like the veins of the material you find, like the matrix of the rocks you find it in, and where you extract it, doing like, you know, sifting through, like looking for, like panning for gold and stuff, it's kind of what it looks like in here. I'm not saying that's what it is. It just reminds me of that. I wanted to keep in there because it looked cool. What if it is gold? Little gold dust in there. Should I get closer up on that? It looks a lot like gold dust to me. I'm not saying that's what it is. It just really gives that appearance. Call it a pareidolia. It might just be a pareidolia or whatever, but I mean, that looks like straight up gold powder. Have to have that stuff tested or something. I'm not sure why there'd be gold dust in this bottle, though. Unless someone was panning for gold and they were collecting it in this bottle. That's a bit of a stretch, I know, but makes you wonder. Try to get closer up on that. Does not like that too much. Because that's good enough right there. Peculiar. But yeah, this is be my third one. Because I have this one. The one with the broken, wasted lid on it. I still haven't taken off and cleaned yet. But this will be the third one. And not really, don't need to waste any more time on that. Besides, it has that cool gold looking material in it. Okay, let's go on ahead and show this one. This is going to lead up into some other things I've been noticing in my bottle finds. After looking up this bottle, I found out this is some form of laxative. I seem to find a lot of stuff that are laxative bottles. It's very, very strange pattern there. Did people of the early 1900s have issues with their bowels? Who knows? I mean, the evidence would seem to point towards that because of all the laxative bottles I find. This is the new one I found. Cork top. But yeah, Just a thick clear glass laxative bottle. Pretty bizarre as I keep finding laxative bottles everywhere. Pooper helper bottles. It just says 874 and 13. And that's the brand name. I'm sure you can read. Nice strong embossing. Same. Seems to be a machine-made bottle because they go up to the top. So other than that, yeah, just another laxative bottle. Still cool though. Nice old clear glass. Okay. I guess I'll go now. I can show this one, why not? Then there's this interestingly shaped, olderish looking bottle. Olderish, it probably is old. I can't really say with certainty. But yeah, I tried to clean it out and got a stick stuck in there. Oh no, don't fall back in there. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get that out. Still. But yeah. This is kind of cool rib kind of design on it. Seam goes all the way up. Machine made. It's a pretty gnarly seam that you can feel it with your thumb. This is an Owens Glass Company. $6.8. I can't even dry on the inside because it's plugged with this piece of wood. So it's still got some condensation in there. Owens Glass Company. Alright. Now onto this one here. When I first saw this one, I kind of thought like a little drum, a little barrel or something. Looks like it might actually be modeled after a barrel. So it looks like it's got like a little wood thing there, and it's got like the wire pieces around. So this might be replicated, you know, made to look like a little wood barrel, a little glass barrel. And it just has 2993. And this is an Owens, Illinois Glass Company bottle. Whatever's going on there. One, whatever that is, and a 4. It's a thread top. And that's pretty much the gist of that one. Let's go on to which ones are these? Alright, let's just go and get this out of the way because I think this might be a mayonnaise jar. Again. Really nothing to see around it, so skip showing all the sides. Let's get right to the number here. wants to focus. Looks like a C822. Since I want to focus, I'll just say it off camera. Oh, kind of wants to there. It's got a C8 and 22. Kind of like a more unique thread top style there. And this is a Hellman's Blue Ribbon. And it's an Owens, Illinois glass company. I'll look at this one out of the way. Just yeah, I guess I did end up keeping this one because I showed this one when I found it, and I just put it off, to the side pile, but I ended up grabbing it, so here it is. For anyone that managed to even attempt to watch that video. Well, here this one is, cleaned up. Not sure who the maker of this bottle is. It was kind of a slightly more interesting design, so I decided to keep it. Still a nice thick old clear glass. Try to get this one last time for anyone who wants to decipher this. And these top numbers look like 3003. So there's that one. Let's see, let's go to this one here. Need to make an adjustment here. Be a little stubborn there. Yeah, piece is kind of messy and weird. I had this thing stored funny for a long time and started using it for this, and it has not reconformed to the flat surface yet. Sneak peek, boys and girls. By accident, of course. So here's this bottle. Just nice kind of texture all the way around. Focus phone. The techno gremlins just like to mess with these bottles sometimes. Yeah, dimmed down, I guess, if it helps. But that pattern is just consistent all the way around. Looks like some sort of pop top or something. It's not threaded. So it might have been like a single pop style top or just a weird wide mouth cork. I'd imagine with this lip on here, it probably had some sort of like pop on and off lid. If they were using those back in those the days this was made, I have no idea. And this is mainly kept because it had this, it's slightly more unique, which is what I'm looking for. And it has what I, at the time, believed to be the older company logo there. But I had been making erroneous mistakes with that, and I will be correcting that. So, just another Owens, Illinois Glass Company bottle. Diamond eye with a 1. I guess from what I read, sometimes these will just look like dots in there because they're embossed really small. But, yeah, you can barely make out the eye on that. It's a really tiny eye. But really, that's the gist of that one. Looks like that almost has a little bit of damage there. I mean, what do you expect? I'm digging these out of the ground. So there's that one. And I found another one of these off by the tree line by essentially the backyard of where I live. My backyard, essentially. So I wrote this one off because I found this the first night I was out there. And I went back the second night and decided to keep it, pick it up and bring it home. So there's this one. I'm pretty sure this is identical to the one I've already found off by the tree line, where I found my Volblatz bottle and whatnot. It has a kind of a cool, it's not picking up too well, but it has a cool kind of dark green or blue color going on. Try something different here. I brought my old trusty Phoenix back in here. Maybe I can start using it to help show some of these trickier to see colors. There we go. It's a little more blue. Hopefully that's helping. I wonder if the other one would work better. Just got the more neutral color. I took it off the band to clean it. I think it was getting dirty. But this one still has the working band and everything on it, so I have to use the floodlight. Oops, use the floodlight here. It does seem to help a little bit more. Actually, on second thought, I'm heading off to vacation tomorrow. I want to charge that again. I'll leave that alone. Just probably not use the flashlights. Just scratch all that. Just show the bottles the best I can with the lighting I got. This one just has a 33 on the bottom. I do believe the other one has that as well. But that one is, one second, actually. It is still up here with me. Dang it. Oh no. No way. That's, wow, no way. Oh. Oh well. I'll have to deal with that later. 1 second. Oh, sorry for the pause there. That bottle wasn't up here. Anyway, there's a bottle that was downstairs. Quite livid at the moment. I don't try to keep my composure at this point because I did end up breaking 2 of my bottles that I had in one of my containers up here, stupidly, because I had them stacked and I pulled the bottom one out and the top one fell off and had some heavy glass in there. Needless to say, it broke. Okay, I'll just go ahead and say it just to get off my back. It broke my Folgers Golden Gate and my green 1880s polymer bottle. But it was a clean enough break to where it got super glued back together, which still don't make, so I'm still pissed about it, but shit happens, I guess. I'll just try to move on. Maybe I'll find another Golden Gate Folgers bottle, maybe. But that one was not salvageable because it was a thin glass and it shattered into pieces. Because I'm guessing this big heavy boy fell on the Folgers one, and that's a big heavy glass. Thankfully it didn't break. This, yeah, I know, what a fucking tangent, right? Like anyone gives a shit. Thankfully it didn't break this one, and thankfully it didn't break this one. I mean, that's kind of hard to get to anyways. But these ones survived. The Golden Gate Folgers did not. This one broke around the neck piece right here. You can see the break. But the old lady decided to, in my moment of losing my composure and needing to take a break and to catch myself from, you know, shit, she glued it back together. So I guess it's been potentially repaired 3 times now. Fucking awesome. Great. So I guess with that complete fuckery out of the way, which is, like I said, I'm losing my composure. Sorry, I need to catch myself again. Get these up and put them out of my way before I, you know, just, yeah. I don't know why I'm even bitching and complaining about this on a stupid ass fucking video. It's irritating. Move these out of the way and try to get through this video now, which was supposed to be a cool video. But of course, in real time, dumb shit has to happen. Story of my life. Can try to get through this. And all because this bottle here, and I thought I had one up here, but this piece of shit is one I have downstairs. Down at South Oak shit fucking park. Sorry. Okay. Okay. This bottle is downstairs. It's not in the totes up here, which has caused me to break some of my cool bottles. Talk about insult to injury. But, yeah, this is when I found out in South Oak Park, apparently, and not even, yeah, kind of looked like an older style bottle. I'm not too sure. It's hard to date this when it's just a 33. I have been exposed to the Google Lens thing, so I might start using that more. Maybe this will help me narrow it down at least, if it can find a similar bottle. So maybe I'll find out what this actually is at some point. But yeah, the twin bottle I found is downstairs. Who knows? I might just have the old lady cut all that complaining and boo-hooing out of the video. I don't know. Because it's completely unnecessary. I don't think anyone cares. It is tragic, though. All for a bottle that wasn't even up here. This bottle. Boy. Anyway, I'll try to make the best of it. Sorry if I'm complaining. If you could just only understand the frustration of something like that breaking. So yeah, I'm gonna move on from this bottle, needless to say, because the other one's downstairs and there's nothing to really compare it to, and I'm not going downstairs to get it. And that's pretty much the gist of this bottle. Pretty much the blight of my entire night right now, so. And yes, this was damaged when I found it, so. Looks like it about had a blowout there or something. Like something might have hit it right here. Not sure, maybe that might be another piece right there. Oh yeah, it looks like another damaged piece right there. Huh. Oh well, there's that bottle. Let's get that out of the way and move on to the next one. Let's see. Again, I apologize for my lack of composure there. Try getting better spirits here. Not familiar with this glass maker. Just upside down square with a T. It's really hard to make out the rest of the embossing here. It's pretty faded. Weakly embossed. Can't really make out anything on there, so I'm not even going to bother. I'll try to have the camera capture what I'm saying. It's just not anything to really work with. That's legible. I mean, there's little sprinkles of stuff, but you're not going to piece that puzzle together, so. just a T with this upside down square. It's got a pretty cool design to it. Heavier, thick glass. Well, I guess this one isn't quite as thick as the other ones I've shown prior to this one, but it was kind of a cool design. Had some kind of shape to it and whatnot. So I kept it, of course. Honestly, I kind of kept it mainly because this embossing here is a little different to me. And it did have a decent enough shape, so I collected it up. Try to get that light to reflect on the glass so you can actually see some of it better. Alright, well, I guess that's the gist of that one. I think there's another one similar to this one. Actually not. Yeah, it's only similar because it has the same embossing on the bottom, but let me adjust this camera up. Just a smidge. Try to keep the little ruler part on there, even though I'm not using it, but still want it there. But actually I might need to actually lower this down. Apologies for the adjustment of the camera here. Still trying to figure this stupid tripod thing out. Or just how I want to get this. Maybe this might work. Guess I don't need my ruler. Well, no. Guess it didn't really help much because I had to be way out here. Outstretched arms. I'm not doing all that. So let's set this back. Oh, apologies. Real-time adjustments and fixing of the things here. Alright, let's just show it at this angle then. Usually this is how I gotta get the slightly longer ones in here. This one's not even that long. I don't know why it's being so stubborn. But oh well. This one feels heavier, a little thicker. As I already said, this one also has that inverted triangle with a T in it. Yeah. And that's what you have to work with this one. Actually, this ball might be kind of old. This pattern on the bottom here. Oh, well, not sure why I'm just not seeing this, but it says 1930 right there. Or that's a address. I don't know. Oh, the turtle. If our poor turtle's flipped over. Sorry about that. Had to get the old lady's attention to flip the poor guy back over. Or girl. Can't decide what the genders are yet. Might have to show the turtles one of these days. Anyway, back onto this. I believe that might be a date. Or it's an address. I don't know. I'm gonna wager that's a date because I don't know why. Because it looks like an RD right here. Like you think road or something. Or that's an RO. That looks like RD. It says 1930 1930. There's some more letters here. And this one down here, which has obviously been in the view of the 1930. So it is quite possible this might be 1930. Don't quote me on that, but that's what that appears to be. Unless that's just a date that just happens to, an address, I mean, it just happens to look like a date from the time period these look to seem to be from. But with that one jar I had that said 1937 on it, which is actually right here. This bottle says 1937 on it. Unless that's just ironically, perfectly just some weird number that just happened to look like a date. Like this 1931. Fascinating. So I guess that's this one. Spending too much time on it. One more quick go around. Actually, maybe do some different angles here. I mean, really there's not much to see. It's not too overly detailed or ornate or anything, so yeah. Let's get on with that. Let's see. Boy, it's gonna be fun showing these bigger bottles. Let's gonna get some smaller ones out of the way. I did find another one of these little Noxemas. For anyone that watched the video when I was out there digging around would have seen this one. Sorry for me popping my obnoxious thumb there. I impulsively do that quite often, so apologies. And yeah, this is another Noxema. I think just some sort of, yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I don't want to yell for attention. What do you say this Noxema stuff is? A face cream. She says it's a face cream. She would know this stuff. I don't. Is it like a woman, like for females, women, ladies? I mean, it's a face cream. I don't see why men would be using a face cream. Yeah, sorry. Don't usually involve other background peoples in my videos, but she's here, so she's a woman and she might know what this stuff is. Makes me think of Dragon Ball Z when I see that big Z on there.
Used to like get rid of acne.
Well, fine, it's an acne cream then. So I guess it is unisex then. Fine, we'll leave it at that. So it's yeah, so I seem to be finding a lot of Vicks Vapor Rubs, laxatives, and now acne cream stuff. Right on. Is this indicating something that was going on in the past? Were people gross or something? Man. Sorry, I just trying to make a joke there, but so yeah, this is that one. I've shown other similar bottles. In fact, it's still up here even. I haven't even put them downstairs yet, or in another tote. But yeah, well, they got the same numbers on the bomb. 23 and 26. So I guess, yeah, just another Noxema cobalt blue bottle. Probably said it pretty fast. Let me say that again. Just another Noxema cobalt blue bottle. Sorry, ADHD brain and hyperactivity. I tend to talk fast. I'm trying to talk slower for these videos, which is kind of tricky for me. So move on from that since it's already been shown. Let's get this longer one out. I found this one in the video as well when I was out there recording. And oddly, I didn't even notice this chip out on it right there when I dug it up and cleaned it. So I don't think that happened after I brought it home and cleaned it, because I just guess I never noticed it. But yeah, this is one I found in the video in real time. It was dirty. I was brushing it off. I was like, oh, this is a weird one. It's a pretty big one. It is a thread top. Got this kind of inward divot here. Guys, see the glass reflecting it. Try to capture some of this detailing in the glass here, the color anyways. Guess it's just mostly a clear glass. There's not much to see there. And it is a Owens, Illinois glass company bottle. Looks like a 7, 6 with an underscore and then 4. And that is basically the gist of this bottle. Kind of a thicker glass. Yeah, I know flicking it in a video and trying to pick it up to a mic is probably not doing too, doesn't do too hot for it unless you get your hands on it and feel it. That's how you really kind of know it's a thicker, heavier glass. Oops. Set that down for a second. Okay. And I guess I'll just go ahead and move on from this one. Oh no, exciting. Aren't all of these super exciting? Hopefully the highlight video will make me feel better. Highlight bottle of the video will make me feel better. This one has a kind of a interesting design. It's got like this up little ridge going around the top. Has some weight to it. This one does have a little bit of damage on the mouthpiece up here. And it is a thread top. Kind of weird to show this one. I think this is an Owen, Illinois. It's just faded. Yeah, it's an Owen, Illinois glass company. I thought that was someone's initials in there, scratched, etched in the glass. Sometimes glass makers would do that. Not sure, that might just be a defect in the glass though. This is an A. Maybe something else. I think it's just a defect in the glass. I might just be overthinking it a little bit. It does take this kind of like a, gives off an A type look, but anyways. Yeah, it just has a faded Owens, Illinois embossing up here. I wouldn't say it's faded, it's more, it's just not very strongly embossed. It's got this little lower ridge thing all the way down around the bottom. Gives this kind of feel. Try to capture that more. Yeah, that kind of helps. That is pretty much consistent all the way around. Spend too much time on a single bottle. Trying to be better about that. Give one more quick look. And yeah. Let's see. Guess I can just go and get the cup out of the way. Found a new cup to add to my growing collection. So I do find a lot of these cups. But the only thing I do find that's along, usable things like this. I don't find plates or bowls or hardly anything else. Apologies. But yeah, I don't tend to find anything surviving besides cups. When I do find silverware or stainless ware, whatever you want to call it, it's generally pretty ate up and bent and not really salvageable. And it's a big old Hazel Atlas cup. When I say big, I mean it's a thicker glass. You can kind of just see around how thick that glass is around there. This is going to become my new drinking cup whenever I clean it up, finish cleaning it up. That's a pretty thick boy. It's a really nice cup too. All things considered, as I always stress, considering the fact I'm digging these out of the ground. This one was about 1.5 feet in the ground probably. I mean, it's got some damage on it, but it's not going to stop me from using it. When I get it cleaned up and sterilized, etc. The mouthpiece is still nice. There's no real damage on that, which is probably the most important part. There's no cracks in it. Just, your obligatory chips from things hitting it in the ground or when it tumbled before it got buried. And this has got kind of this kind of scalloped type thing going on all the way around. Again, apologies for losing my composure earlier. It's just frustrating. It's a tragedy. I broke 2 of my bottles. But anyway, I'll find more. It's not the end of the world. In fact, if this new spot's as promising as I think it might be, I'll be finding way better stuff anyways. Just so not, wish me luck. It's a pretty cool Hazel Atlas embossing on there. I don't think I've seen it quite like that yet. If I find another Hazel Atlas sitting around, I need to compare those. It's probably one of the more detailed ones I've seen. Got some design to it. So yeah, basically just another drinking cup, which I'll be using when I sterilize it and clean it out more thoroughly. This is just a quick rinse to get all the dirt off of it, and that's about it. It cleaned up pretty nicely. So let's move on from that. Distraction. Okay, what do I want to show next? Guess I can get some of these, let's get this one out of the way, and maybe this one. This is a Premier, some sort of condiment container. From what I looked up about it anyways. Didn't seem to be very specific because I guess this could have had several different things in it. They seem to have done that a lot with some of these old bottles or containers. They'd put multiple different things in them. And if they had a label on it, it's long gone, so. And I haven't seen any ghosting of anything on there, so I can't make out what's on it or what was in it. And it's just an Owens Glass Company. Make sure there's no smudges on it. Owens Glass Company with a 34. And it's just, again, Premier. It was like a pop top. So whatever was on it probably popped on and off. So it's meant to be one-time use, and they used the entire contents and disposed of the bottle. But yeah, since I'm spending too much time on this one. Sorry, I'll start it over. My finger is kind of in the way. Premier. on now onto a more Art Deco-ish style bottle, as they would say. It's kind of got the edgy Art Deco look going on here, which it seemed to hold true because I guess buildings, well, whatever they say about that anyways. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to focus on the glass. Not go on tangents right now about that stuff, but I would definitely say this does hold true to that theme of looking Art Deco, so that's all I'm going to say about it. You know, looks like a section of an Art Deco building almost. Guess that's why they would call it that. There's a Hazel Atlas. And there's those 5, 4, 1, 6, 1, 0. It could potentially be an 8, but I'm going to say it's a 6. There's a little bit of damage right there, it looks like. So it's a survivor, as all these are, hence why they're here. I found them and now they're here. That's basically that one. Okay. Guess I'll get this one out of the way because it's I said I wouldn't collect ones like this, but as I was looking around at bottles, I guess these old ketchup bottles are actually kind of, I guess people do collect and buy these. I'm not selling mine, but knowing there's an interest in them, I guess why not collect them? It's kind of my thinking. Again, I have no intention of selling anything I find, but I might as well pick them up if there's an interest for them, in case I ever do decide to. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen one quite clear, with an embossing quite as clear as this, straight up H.J. Heinz Co. on it and everything. I have seen this style in South Oak Park a lot, but I think the nicks were always a little shorter. But I don't recall seeing the actual Heinz embossed stamping on the bottom. And it's an Owens, Illinois glass company. And it's a Pat, with whatever that is, with an underscore and a dot. Looks like a square or a 0. It's hard to see, but there's a 9 and a 4. It's hard to see when you're trying to look through a phone screen. You're not yanked a bottle off camera to look at them. But yeah, there's this old Heinz ketchup bottle. It's probably the oldest one I've seen. I couldn't get anything in there to clean it all the way out, so apologies for looking gross. It's in thicker old glass. Clear glass. Correction, it's just clear. Obviously it's old. And that's pretty much that one. Not sure if that... I guess it is a thread top, and it has a C on it. Try to get this thing refocused on my phone camera better. Trying to work on that also. Looks like it's got like this little line on it there. I don't plan to collect too many of these, but they got like this older style embossing like this on it. I might start collecting them up. So, yeah, I might be collecting more of these food containers if they're actually older and more, collectible and sought after. So there's that H.J. Heinz. Guess I can get some smaller ones out of the way because the big ones are kind of awkward. I do believe I found this one in that video when I was out there digging for like 2 hours and 50 minutes. And of course, even after I stopped the video, I was out there for an extra probably almost 2 hours probably of not recording. Gamma maniac. Anyways, found this one. It's got this texture feel to it. Kind of see how the light hits it right there. Yes, dim the video camera light sensor thingy. And this is an Owens, Illinois glass company. And I got that perfect. Sometimes, hey, I'm getting pretty good at this. Because sometimes I will get it right there where I need it. Not to do any weird janky finagling to get it back to where it's legible and readable. That's an old looking 2 on there. It's a fancy looking 2. So we got 12, 13.5. I'm pretty sure that dot might be before the 5. I'm not sure if that's indicative of anything, but there it is. It's a thread top. I'll refocus it in the center there. Sorry. Really trying to be more considerate about that so it's not like I'm holding it off to the side. A little bit of damage there, it looks like, maybe. Yeah, some scuffs right there. At least it's not broken. Thread top, if I didn't say that already. And that would be this one. So if I can't get these, yeah, there we go, that's what I wanted to do. Before I moved on from this one. Get this kind of terraced, textured look there. It's kind of terraced when you look at it from a certain angle. It wants to focus. Damn things just doing what they want to do all the time. Pretty sure that's pretty visible. I don't know why I need to be spending too much time on it. Alright then. Let's get these other little ones out of the way because these aren't too particularly amazing. They're all cool, but there's just not a whole lot to see. When I found this one, actually, just to go ahead and show it, I found 2 of these in that video recording, and then I'd made mention I had another one already, so don't need to spend too much time on these. So there's these little ones again. They do like cool little bottles though. I kind of like these simple little shapes. This one does have damage on it. As you can see. Not too much going on here. And this is the... One moment. I'm trying to do better with these glass bottles. I guess the ones with a square and an N are Nestor Glass Company. I'm just going to start saying Nestor Glass Company, just to keep it simple. Just cut off the Aubert part, if I'm pronouncing it right. but I'm going to say Nestor Glass Company because the square and N. Pretty sure the other one has the square and N as well. Yes, it does. These could have been either made in Illinois or St. Louis. No, it's somewhere around St. Louis and Illinois and or Kansas City, Missouri area. Actually off by Cliff Drive. So I looked up the Nestor Glass Company and they had two different locations. And they had one of these glass companies where they're making these bottles was off down by Cliff Drive and the train tracks that run down through there. And then there's one in between St. Louis and Illinois. I think it's on the Illinois side of Mississippi, but it still counts as St. Louis. Like a St. Louis plant, I guess. Didn't look that deep into it, but I did look up the one out here more local to where I am, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I could go find a way to mull around those areas more or something. Who knows? Probably can't because they look like they're still in business and a bunch of companies and cameras are around there, so probably not the greatest idea. But this is an Aubert Nestor company, glass company. And Miles was going to get that one moved out of the way. Again, not trying to spend too much time on these because I've shown one already. But since I already have them here, they're in the collection now, I'm also giving them a little bit of time. That's another Nestor glass company. Interesting. Noticing a pattern with some of the bottoms of those. I'm gonna keep that off to the side. Where did I see that other one at? One moment. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it might be that one. I'll just leave those off to the side real quick. And as usual, I do find the little amber containers. Ooh, the glass webs really popped there. The camera dimmed because the light hit the sensor funny from reflecting off the glass. And it picked up that weirdly. Come on, adjust back now. But I always find the little amber jars, containers. Which I'm not complaining. I've always liked the amber jars, containers, glass, etc. All the above. And I actually haven't looked up this glass manufacturer yet. I'll have to add that to my research folder so I can start remembering these glass companies because of my shoddy memory. Like that, remembering like names and stuff. I can do good with other things, but just not names. Among others, I don't care to get into right now. It's not the point. But I'll have to get this glass company figured out and add it to my research so I can start naming these properly. Three, 6, 7. In fact, I'm probably going to put this one off to the side and try to remember to do that after I do this video. Get it off the camera though. Just stick it next to my Coke bottle. And I'll stick it back over here. I found this little amber one. I'm pretty sure I found this one when I was recording. And I had said something about this is going to become a new one of my new desk ornaments. This little weird stopper in it. So it apparently had a lid that this stopper was molded into. Because you dip it in there and hold it over and drop it on something, however. But then I got me another little amber bottle to add to the collection. Sorry if I said that fast. And this one was kind of weird because it looked like it says gets it. Try my best to get that captured on there. It's being real stubborn as usual. But it looks like a GETSIT. gets it. Because there's gets. It's actually picking up pretty clear right there. And you got it. What an interesting one that is. If I'm reading that right. And I just realized this little neck piece has some red little designs on it. Funny how sometimes you notice more things when you got them up close to a camera. Almost acts like a faux magnifying lens. When you're holding it up this close to it and your face is up on the phone. Clearly a thread top, machine made, because the seam goes all the way up. Yeah, this is an interestingly cool little amber bottle here. It's gonna go on my desk with my other little miniature, little tiny bottles. In fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that now so I don't forget. All right. Let's see. I gotta start speeding this up a little bit. Let's get this one out of the way. Now, yes, I do have quite a few of these in my collection now. Several other ones. But I do believe this is my oldest Listerine bottle. Because I'm pretty sure I checked already and this is my only cork top for the Listerine. It's a machine-made cork top, but a cork top nonetheless. You can see it's machine made because the seam goes all the way up. And it's a cork top, so this would be categorized as a machine made cork top. Oh, gotta dance around on the ground here because I'm sitting on the ground. It gets uncomfortable sitting one way too long. But anyway, back onto this. I feel like there's water dripping out of something. My hand just got wet. Is it this one? Something else. Might have been something else. This is the Lambert Pharmaceutical Company. There we go. Try to capture both at the same time. And everyone knows what Listerine is. Shouldn't have to say it. Kind of a weird oddity with this seam. Did it move in the mold or something? Side note. These little bottles make good whistles. So if you're ever out in a bad situation and you find one of these little bottles, they make a good whistle. Let me see if I can get the whistle here. Oops. Make a liar out of me, I see. Well, what a joke. I'm kidding. They usually do. I'm not sure why they don't want to work. I swear to God, it will do it if I wasn't recording. I'm not kidding. That's the amber one here I'm trying to make a whistle out of. There it went. Sorry if that was loud. It finally worked. Sorry, I'm done. I'm done. It's distracting. I like to make them whistle sometimes. I'm not just looking at them randomly. I'll test them out, so which ones make good whistles. But this has the diamond and an eye, so it's the Own Illinois Glass Company. It's got 11. This one looks straight up like a dot. Now, I do remember reading on the Own Illinois Glass Company website, on this glass website, where it's just a bunch of glass research and stuff people have done. They say sometimes that will happen, it just looks like a dot. But that is straight up just a dot. There's no eye there. It just looks like a dot, but it's an eye. I mean, I know it's intended to be an eye, but that's just a dot. Let's be honest. So there's this little one here. Probably my oldest Listerine. Actually, I guarantee you this is my oldest Listerine bottle now. Little cork top Listerine. Pretty sweet. I wonder if this one whistles. Sort of. I ain't trying to do that too long. For whatever reason, they're camera shy. They don't want to whistle. Be whistles on the camera. Okay, let's see. Guess I can get this out of the way. It is a green liquor bottle, dating from at least 1930 up to about roughly 60s, 1960s, because it has the federal law warning on it. And that allegedly started in the 30s, which I guess that holds true. It's kind of hard not to prove that. It wasn't that long ago. So this is got the federal law warning on it. So this bottle can be easily dated to 1930s to 60s, roughly. And it's strange because it seems like these bottles do seem to be mostly around that time period, but I have found ones that indicate older, so which I'll show those ones towards the end. If I haven't already shown ones that are still old. It's machine made. It's Owen, Illinois. Glass company. Sorry. Then 5R8965. It's a pretty thick green glass. But that's really all there is to see with this one. It's in pretty good shape. And yeah, pretty much that's that one already. Sure there's nothing hiding down here. Where's a 4? Got kind of a janky seam going on. I think that was pretty much it. More janky seam going on. And just the 4. For the last time. Let's get that in there. For anyone it may concern. Let's see, where do I want to go next? Get this big weirdo one out of the way. It's a very pretty bizarre one. It's my biggest one in this style now. It's got pretty gnarly thick threads on it. Has a pretty noticeable seam on it. You can feel it. So I guess that indicates slightly more on the older side, because I guess the seams are like, pretty gross and you can feel them. It kind of indicates they're on the older side potentially, more than likely. What the bottle wizards say online. People who dedicate their lives to this stuff, which I don't on the research side of it, but I do like collecting them. I will be taking my research on these bottles a bit more seriously though, because I would like to, have more information for these bottles instead of just showing them. Even though I do like just showing them, because it's exciting to find old stuff and show it. This is pretty much what you see is what you see. I don't think there's anything on the lower part down here. Pretty noticeable seam at bottom. Yeah, there's not anything on this side here. Let's go straight to the bottom. It's another one of these. And this has 907 that glassmaker embossing, and a 3. I did look this one up, and it seems it might be the same company as this one here. Just sometimes they didn't add the W. I can't quite, I haven't read up enough to quite figure out why that is, or if I read that correctly, or if, I saw that correctly. But it's possible that might be the same glassmaker as this one. Which off the top of my head, I don't quite remember their name. I think it's like Whittle Tantum something glass company. Sorry, I just straight up butchered that. Oh, that's cool. Let's see here. Whitehall Tantum Company. Probably butchering that. We're not pronouncing it right, but it looks like Whitehall Tantum Company. Possibly. So get that bottom embossing one last time for those wizards out there who can make sense of it if they come across any of this, which they probably won't. 9073. And we'll pretty much just move on from this big silly jar, because it's not much to see besides, that. Oops. Bumped in my carboys under the desk table here. Let's see. Guess I'll go and, I'm gonna go and show this one. I don't think I have to be like super crazy about picking them out in order. It's just gonna make this take longer. But this is the only medicine bottle I have of this style. I do believe this is on the older side of some of these medicine bottles, because this is the only one I have with this reef embossing. This reef embossing here. So the only one I have like this. Can't make out what's in the center of those reefs, but it's not embossed very well there. But it has that wacky 3 on there. Looks like an 8 ounce, because this is maybe 7. That'll go up to 8. Sorry, I have to get that damn sensor to readjust sometimes. And this has kind of like a this shape to it. Don't usually have one shaped like this. This is literally the only one in my collection like this. And it looks like a, God, I can't remember the name already. Nestor Glass Company. See, that's how bad I am with names. FYI. There you go, real time. Nestor Glass Company. Ober Nestor Glass Company. Ober, however you want to pronounce it. It's got this interestingly stamped 5 on there. It looks like the same 5 they would have stamped, well, I guess. So this one could have been made in St. Louis or out here in Kansas City. Not entirely sure. They might have had other companies, manufacturers in different places, but I'm not 100% sure. I just pay attention to the St. Louis and Kansas City area plants, glass making plants of this Nestor company. But yeah, this one is the only one in my collection like this. It's kind of interesting how many different variations of these medicine bottles there are, to be honest. I'm kind of curious if I can find more, because I found a Capital out here, which is still on the desk. Got my Capital here. And I have not found any of these in South Oak Park. I find a bunch of the other ones out there. But I haven't found these two particular brands out there, which is weird because they're not horribly far away from each other. All things considered. So Independence to South Oak Park area is only like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, roughly, depending how you're driving. But yet there's such a difference in the bottles you find. And I'm finding bottles from, to be generous, I guess mostly, it seems to be 1950 roughly, give or take 10, 15 years either or direction in that spot. And these ones seem to be, give or take, 1930s, add 10 or take away 10 years to be generous. With the exceptions, I have found ones older, which I'll get to here eventually if I stop dragging my ass and getting distracted. But yeah, I tried to do the Google lens on this one and it didn't bring up anything too particular. I tried to be a little more thorough and spend more time on it, but I was trying to be quick. Being all hasty and stuff. I need to slow down and take more time on some of this stuff. But yeah, one last time on the bottom. And that's that one. Put you right there. I mean, I guess I'll get some of the miscellaneous stuff out of the way because I do end up showing some of the sprinkled miscellaneous things I find out there. Start off with this one. I found me a marble. Pretty cool. I mean, it's all gnarled up and damaged. Some kid was going to town on this thing. That didn't sound right. Some kid was playing with his marbles hard. Oh my god. Sorry, I just trying to find what a word is. Okay, he slammed the... Is there any... Whatever. Looked like he played with the marbles a bit hard. Or her. This has got some dings in it. But granted, that could have happened at any point when it was rolling and tumbling around on rocks and wherever it started up and then ended up at. There's some rust on there. But this thing has seen better days, clearly. But I know there's people out there when they go out and look in creeks and find stuff and blah, blah, blah. They'll find like these really cool marbles and stuff. So, like I said, I've been watching videos like that for years. And I never really went out and applied anything, any of it. But now I am these last 2 years. So finally, now I'm starting to find marbles and other cool things. Not sure why it took me so long to finally get on the wagon for looking for old, looking and trying to find old stuff. But here I am, completely hoarded up on things now already in the last 2 years, especially this last year. It's been crazy. I'm running out of space. These bottles are literally taking over the house and the basement. Not like all of it, but what space I had left is being filled up with bottles. And now it's start getting totes to organize them in. Which that failed miserably earlier. I'm not going to get on that. I'm just not think about that. I'll find more bottles. I mean, it's likely to happen. I mean, obviously, I'm not the only person collecting bottles. I made an oopsie and broke some of their early 1900s and 1800s bottles. God, that makes me sick. Ugh. Now I keep jamming my knee into my carboys hiding under the table here. I need to do a video on those more thoroughly and get them the hell downstairs. And I'm just procrastinating and rambling. That's why I call these show and rambles, because this happens. Anyway, here's the marble. Get that out of the way. I am going to stick that with that there. And as usual, you find your obligatory mason jar lid seal. I'm only really after collecting up the porcelain ones, but I'll probably collect the other ones too. Why not? You know, as the joke is, they're like pogs. Even though you don't want to slam those down on a pile of those, you'll just, yeah, don't even need to say it. But just a Boyd's genuine porcelain cap. Let me see. It doesn't help when I'm just reading, but not showing it. Boyd's genuine porcelain lined cap. This looked more like a zinc one or milk glass, but whatever. They're saying porcelain, so. And I can get moved out of the way. In fact, I found 2 porcelain ones out there. I got this one here. And now I got... Oops. And now I got this one. So I do like collecting these particular ones, stamped porcelain, even if they're not porcelain. They look more like milk glass or something. And random milk glass porcelain lid, because I'm pretty sure this is a milk glass lid, as you can see. But it has the same looks of this alleged porcelain lid. So who knows? God, I gotta get these carboys off from under here. But this one actually has a stamp on the bottom of it. Because I found another one I haven't shown yet, and it doesn't... You want to check that one, see if there's any stamps on that one on your desk? Because I don't think it does. So it would be under the lid, not that part.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it does. Like a liar at me. I don't know why I never noticed that. Guess I didn't really look that through. God, whatever. Shit happens. This one has an A and a GP. A circle GP. And this one just has, yeah, just a GP. Wonder what these went to. Little powder things or something. Actually, let me see that now that's up here. I'm just going to show that thing. This is one of the finds in South Oak Park. Just a random little bonus insert I managed to find. Gave to the lady because I figured she might have more use for it than me. And it's a little thingy. It looks like it might have a little something with powder or makeup or something in it. Or I don't even think this is the original lid, but it fits on here, so I coupulated them together, and there it is. Little milk glass container thing. And it just has an 8 on it. Upside down. Or is it the infinity symbol? Oh. Think real deep on it. I'm kidding. No, and there's that. And I guess this lid is similar to that one. Now I need to find another matching bottom piece for this. And then I'll have 2 of them. Or we'll have 2 of them. Sweet. Okay, let's see. Bonuses. No, bonuses not out of the way. Now I gotta show these 2 things. Because these are like the usual oddball bonuses. Well, because I'm not just finding bottles in this holes I've been digging. This spot has had bricks as well. And I found 2 salamanders buried amongst these glass bottles. So it's kind of an interesting spot. I'm finding old stamper bricks and old bottles. Like, what's the story with this spot? Fascinating. To try to piece it together. Honestly. There's been some mineralization and rusting going on this because there is some of that in that spot. And yes, these being organic material will be affected by the elements and minerals and mineralization and causing weird anomalies with the bricks. It's... Don't need to say it. I'm not getting into it right now. But, yeah. I found these in the ground. Looks like it's got... Oh, what is that? I don't know what the heck that is. Weird. But yeah, I found my actual first salamanders the natural way without having to be guided to them. I still thank Ross for that, of course, but it is much more rewarding to actually go out and find them in the wild on your own, which I finally have these in my collection now. Salamander. I'm not trying to spend too much time on those. I keep saying those, and I haven't even shown the other one yet, but I actually found 4 of them out there, but in the video, if anyone watched it, one of them was missing this whole piece. This part here was kind of sheared off. And then one of them was just like half of the brick, and it just had like whatever part of the stamp left, and it was just like a quarter to half of the brick. But then there's the 2 complete ones I found, which I obviously collected those, because here they are. If I find more. Now, probably... Nah, I'm not going to slip in that curved one I found. That arched one. If no one watches my videos, that's their problem. I'll probably show that at some other point. But there's this one. And this does seem to have that same Christie St. Louis mixture, so you can go and correct myself on that. A lot of these tan bricks seem to have that type of mixture combination of this more coarse, gritty look. Which, by the way, the red bricks do not have that. Not generally, not that I've noticed. So the red and tan bricks are completely and entirely different mixes. So, I mean, that's self-evident. You can just look at them and know that. Should be able to anyways. But, needless to say, I got my own found in the wild complete salamanders. Because I have found other ones in the past, but they've been broken. Which I think I showed Ross once when he was here. Of course, I found those in a parking lot across the street from a Pizza Hut. Go figure. So yes, my own naturally found salamanders. Feels cool. Get those out of the way. Or it out of the way. And let's get to the bottles again, because I'm making this last longer than it needs to, as this always happens. Let's get some of these bigger oddball ones out of the way. I do believe this was a radish jar, because let me just go and spin it around real quick. You'll see why I think this was a radish jar here in a second. Or not. I'll just explain it either which way. To the best of my limited ability on this. Because this is another H.J. Heinz Co. This is a 426. And I don't actually think I got to figure out what that glass maker is either. So I need to start doing my homework on those and then start, do my best to remember the names so I can start saying what those glass makers are. But there is another Heinz, it's not ketchup, but I did look this bottle up and I did find one's listed as it's potentially a radish jar. Had radishes in it. Big old wide mouth. It's not a thread top, so it must have had a pop-on off lid or something. But these are pretty rare and sought after, I guess, amongst people. So this spot has some pretty old, cool food container jars, bottles, glass, whatever, which I said I wasn't going to collect, but I kind of changed my mind on the ones that are like older and more unique like this, because this is still a pretty cool jar container at the end of the day. So I'm like, I guess I'll make exceptions to certain ones, which I pretty much have already said that. If they're just basic, plain Jane food containers and it's clear as day, it's like, yeah, I'm not grabbing those. But ones with the more unique embossings on the bottom with the actual company on the bottom and stuff, I'll collect these ones. Generally, if they're older like this. Because these ones tend to be on the older side, from what I've seen. What's going on there? Oh, it's got one of those little weird circles or squares with an underscore. Pat. That's 426 for anyone that is a wizard with bottles. Hopefully I go to South Oak Park tomorrow. Not South Oak Park. Wow. Scatterbrained. I'm leaving out to South Dakota tomorrow, and I'm hoping our first stop in Sioux Falls, I can find some bottles out there somewhere. I'm going to try to poke around and spelunk around. I'm probably going to even record some of the stuff I do out there, because, you know, it's once a year I go out there. This will be my third time in the past 3 years. So yeah, I'm hoping to actually do more recording of my vacation this time, as opposed to my first time out there where I just did quiet videos of like Mount Rushmore, Devil's Tower, where I just kind of panned around and didn't say anything. I'm hopefully going to do more, you know, actual rambling and showing more stuff, hopefully. Not, if I get the time to do it and it's not raining or whatever elements could get in the way. But rambling again. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping to find some bottles while I'm out on vacation this time. I'm going to try to do my best to find stampers, bottles, stuff. You know, I only have so much time in each place we stop at because my dad's the one driving and I'm on his schedule, which is pretty tight. So we're going to get to Sioux Falls, and then I have maybe a couple hours to poke around and probably go back to the motel and then do whatever and go to bed, because I'm probably going to be tired by the time I get there, because I had to wake up at like 9 o'clock in the morning, drive to my parents' house, and then drive all the way to Sioux Falls in one day. It's going to be fun. So yeah, guess I'll get off from this bottle. I got distracted again. Okay, let's go to this other one here. Obviously, by this design, that should give away what this one is as well. This one came out really quite immaculate. I don't think I recorded myself pulling this one on the ground. I might have, but this one cleaned up nicely, with the exceptions of the obvious little scuffs. Actually, I don't know. I can't feel it. Okay, yeah, I can. Those are scuffs. They're just really fine ones. They're not too bad. I might have recorded myself pulling these out of the ground. I know one of these are definitely sticking out. You can remember this piece here sticking out of one of them at one point in the video. I was out there digging around for almost 3 hours. God forbid anyone actually sit there and watch it. I don't blame you if you don't want to. It is pretty ridiculous. You couldn't even hear me half the time anyway, because I was facing the wall, facing away from the camera, but I was hoping my voice would bounce off the dirt wall and go back towards the camera. It didn't work so well. So whatever. Lesson learned. Just trying to ramble as much when I'm digging. I'll just focus on working, and people can sit there and watch, live vicariously through my wacky ventures of me digging in the damn ground for stuff. If you got the time just to sit there. Oh yeah, here we go. If you ever need help going to sleep, just put on one of my videos. There we go. I'll do it. I'll put your ass right the fuck to sleep. But yeah, this is an even older Heinz bottle, container contents bottle. Got the H.J. Heinz Co. It's a 427. When I looked up this one with the Google lens, where I took a picture of the bottom of this, it actually brought up early 1890s. Don't know how accurate that is, but this one is definitely, it could possibly very well be from the 1800s, like very late 1800s to very early 1900s. Hence why I might make an exception to collecting more of these old ones like this. with these letterings like this, the company in this particular lettering style, because apparently these ones are actually old. So, with the exception of these, I think I will start to collect certain ones of these, particularly like these. Oops, that's terrible sounding. But yeah, these ones here, they got the lettering on them, got the company's name on them, the glass maker, and all that stuff. So these ones here, I'll be for sure collecting ones like this from now on. So there's that. Because these are definitely seem to be truly more unique than just your random food contents jars. These are actually old, allegedly, as of right now, from what I can see. This one, take with a grain of salt, was saying this is from like the 1890s. Even though it doesn't make sense because this is like machine made, it looks like. That is a pretty thick seam going up here. I don't know. Again, take that with a grain of salt. I'd wager this is more like 20s or 30s, but I'm not that bottle smart yet, and the Google lens could just be joshing me pretty hard, so it's probably not perfect anyways. So I don't want to take its quickly searched up and spit out answer too seriously. But I'll look into it more. But these do seem to be more on the unique old side at least, so they're definitely worth grabbing. And like I said, this one came out pretty immaculate. So there's that. And I really need to speed up the showing of these bottles. It's taking way too long. This video shouldn't take this long, so I apologize. I really don't like making long videos. It just always ends up happening. I guess I'll show this one. I guess anyone local to St. Louis will get a kick out of this one. This is that green one that I showed in that video where this part was sticking out of the ground. This is a Vess. I guess it's a St. Louis made carbonated soda water. Apparently there's remnants of the factory still out in St. Louis, or there's like this big like a sign thing that's gated off that has a Vess bottle down in St. Louis. You can look up this company and you'll see it pop up in image searches and whatnot. You can see the St. Louis arch in the background. But this was what was under there. It was too dirty to see when I pulled it out. But mine only has this on the bottom. It doesn't say anything too fancy. I've seen ones that said St. Louis, Missouri on them and other things. I was searching these up, but mine just owns Illinois Glass Company, and that's basically it. 932. And yeah, it's just a big Vess bottle. I guess these are actually quite rare and collectible though. However, mine has a damaged piece. What do you want for nothing? Don't say rubber biscuit. I know I make that joke a lot. Has a lot of soda pop right there. 1 pint. 8 foot. This is huge. Anyway. This is a big bottle. Let's see how big it is. This particular one is about 11.5 inches. Yeah, 11.5 inches. Take my word for it. I just lined it up the best I could, and it's showing it off over here. I don't want to move the camera. Has this interesting texture, but Yeah, no reason to spend too much time on this. It's basically just a big pop bottle. It is pretty cool though. It's a big glass bottle, I guess. So yeah, that's that one. This. Okay, there's that one. Guess I'll go and get this big oddball one out of the way. I don't know how to make sense of this one. Not really. Ooh, this one's huge. That's what she said. I'm gonna have to move the camera up for this one. Okay. And there's this big boy. And it is a big cork top. It's a machine-made cork top, but because the seam does go all the way up to the mouthpiece there. But it's a big cork top. Very interesting. It's just an Owens, Illinois glass company. There we go. 763. Yes. So it's got 763, and it's an Owens, Illinois glass company. And it's a big boy, big amber boy. This one measures to be about 10.5 inches, roughly. And it seems to be roughly 4.5 inches wide from here to here, you know. 1 second. I could start doing this. Up the ante a little bit here. Yeah, I do have these things. Not like I don't have rulers. Okay. Let's see which one of these rulers I might start using for these. Let's see, I know I should be spending the time doing this. It looks just about roughly 4.5 inches. I know, how scientific. I do that measured up somehow and keep it from sliding around. See, I basically like roughly 4.5 inches. Yeah. It's kind of an interesting ruler here. This one usually sits on my desk. Little USA made Pioneer ruler here. Usually sit around with this one on my desk. But anyways, Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of this, to make of this bottle. I'm not even sure what the hell it was used for. This is my biggest amber cork top. But yeah. Get that one out of the way. Let's show these ones now. I might have to move this down. Do some adjustments here. Actually, that's fine. I'm not going to spend any more time with that. It's taking too long. And this is the Genuine Phillips Milk of Magnesia tablets. This also, man, we'll get out of here. And this also is a laxative tablet. Just to add to the bottles of laxative assists. So, yeah. Apparently people had issues crapping back in the early 1900s and mid 1900s. So yeah, there's that. I did record this one being found. Cleaned up nicely. So I didn't get all the stuff cleaned out of it. I'll probably worry about that later, get them more thoroughly cleaned later. Most of the time I'm just cleaning them to make them, to bring them in the house and handle them and not have a bunch of dirt falling off them and stuff. But this one came out super immaculate. I mean, if you watch the video where I find it, you see the condition it's in, it's just insane. Minus the inside stains in the bottle, that's not scuff damage on the outside, that's inside the bottle, which can be cleaned out. There's nothing wrong with this bottle. It looks virtually brand new. Like it was made brand new and just put in the ground and buried. I don't think there's any damage on this thing. No chips. It just looks like a literally brand new bottle. I guess bottles like this in this condition are quite rare, so I mean, let's be honest, all these bottles, regardless of what the hell they are pretty much rare. But this is absolutely immaculate. No damage to the embossing on it. Again, ignore the inside deteriorated white tablets that are on the inside, because I guess they turned into like a white powder and they just stain the inside. It's hard to get stuff in there and clean those. But once I get that figured out, this bottle is going to be essentially brand new. I do believe this is an early 1900s bottle. Maybe. Well, no, they could have made these, I don't know, it's 20s or 30s probably. I don't know. I really need to start figuring this out. But every time I look these things up, there's like no real straight answer. It usually says 1900s to modern. So it's like you don't ever get an exact date with these. It's kind of frustrating. So I'm trying to like ballpark numbers and stuff. So yeah, it's frustrating. I'm trying to date these bottles sometimes. Absolutely immaculate though. No damage. Finger smudges on it. Those wipe right off and it's just nice clear glass. In fact, I can go and wipe it off on my shirt real fast and try to not put my fingers all over it, and we'll see how nice it looks. This is one of my lucky finds of the area out there, I would say, because of just how insanely in good condition it is. Let me see, now that I got it all cleaned up, let me just try to hold it with this towel. Get all my fingerprints off of it. to see a really nice, clean bottle. I mean, just look at that thing. Even through the camera, it's just crazy. It just looks like a brand new bottle. There's nothing wrong with this thing. There's barely any normal wear on it. It's insane. Even the bottom, there's no damage around this part, like, you know, being picked up and down and whatever on hard surfaces or nothing. It's just completely smooth. It's bonkers how nicely preserved this thing was, or is. It's not was, it still is. The fact I found it in the damn ground, it's insane. It's probably one of the best conditioned bottles I have ever found out there, digging in any spot. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this one, but it deserves it with the condition it's in. Granted, I gotta get that white powder residue cleaned out of the inside, and you can only imagine after that what it will look like. Yeah, this thing is insanely good condition. I'd wager it's near mint. For even considering it was in the ground. Laxative bottle. In mint condition. Damn near. I can't say mint condition. I know that's exaggerating a bit, but it isn't just, yeah, I can't stress it enough. This thing is in such good condition. Better not break this one. Famous last words. I mean, that's the first time I broke any of my bottles was today, and it's absolutely tragic. God, man. I know that stuff's just likely to happen. And this collecting all this glass and having it sitting around in totes and containers and stuff. I should have been more mindful with it, though, and I slid out the other one when I was sliding out from under the table. It's a real bummer. But like I said, hopefully this spot will reward me with a nice collection. This being one of the examples from this spot so far. But yeah, I need to move on from that one. I'm gonna spend too much time on it, gazing at it. Let me just go ahead and clean this one. So let's go and get to this one next. And this one also came out really, really nice. And this one I know is definitely early 1900s from what I've seen. Or I hope it is. I'm not sure how long they made this style bottle like this or what's going on with it. I'd definitely say it's got to be 20s down for sure. This is probably early 1900s though. And you'll see what I mean when I show it. There's no way it's not early 1900s. It's going to go and clean this one up too, because this is another very immaculate bottle I'm really proud of that I found out there. I'm going to hold it in the towel and show it. And it's this one. It is my Bromo Seltzer Emerson Drug Co. Baltimore, Massachusetts, MD. Sorry, I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. I always thought that was labeled differently, but I have brain farts like that. But yeah, you see what it is. And this is a cork top. They did make this bottle design for a while, but the newer ones have thread tops on them. But this is a true cork top. And this has definitely got to be at least 1915s down. It's got to be definitely early 1900s. And this bottle came out insanely immaculate as well. I'll try to do my best to show this one, but these darker blue ones are kind of hard to show. Okay, I saw like one little bit of damage on one of the letters on here once when I was looking at it. There's like a little something going on like right here. Just a tiny little something right there. You probably see it right there. It's not so hard to see. It's right in the center there. And I think there was a little bit of something else somewhere on here, and that was about it. I mean, considering this thing is definitely early 1900s and it looks this good, it's just a feat in itself. And I did dig this out of the ground. It's not like I got it in an estate sale or I found it in some bottle collection somewhere and bought it. This was dug out like 2 feet out of the ground. However, I didn't see the part where I saw that damaged letter. I know this towel is making it really hard to see the bottle because it's taking up a lot of it, but oh well, I guess we get to the point I need to sit there and baby it. It's kind of weird, sorry. But yeah, there's this one. Try to find that part where I thought there was one of the embossed letters with a little bit of damage on it. I guess I was just imagining it. No, that's near perfect. It's perfect as perfect's gonna get for the age of the bottle and where it was found. You can see the mouthpiece up here is in extremely good condition as well. Nothing wrong with it. Maybe like a tiny little something right there. But to have such an old bottle in such good condition like this is just super nice. I'm hoping this spot I'm now digging in, just like a block away from where I live, rewards me with some more bottles like this, because these are the ones I'm trying to find. Early 1900s cork tops. That might be a little something right there. All things considered, I'll take it. That is not bad. And I gotta clean this one out from on the inside better also, because you can see some residual stuff in there. But this is absolutely in the immaculate shape, besides tiny little bits here and there. Just very, very rare little spots like that. Might be some right there. But yeah, the fact it was dug out of the ground and it looks better than, I've looked these up online and I've seen ones. I don't think I've seen any of them in this good of condition. There might have been like a couple here and there, but those look like they were already in somewhat like bought in an estate sale or just never were in the ground. It looked like someone just inherited them from their great-great-grandma or grandparent or something. Because some of them saw the cork top and they were never exposed to the elements or nothing. Like they're just kept in an attic or something somewhere for 100 years, 100 plus years. But yeah, there's this one. Another one of my happy finds of that spot. I like all of them, but I have my favorites. I think this one might have had No, I don't think this one had the damage letter on it either. I got real close up on this one and I didn't see anything. No, I thought one of them had, thought this one there had something damaged on one of the embossed letters, but I guess not. Oh well, I'll take it. I'm gonna put my eyes on it in person, see if I can't find it. Maybe the camera's just not picking it up. Okay, I think it was this Z right here. Yeah, the Z has a little bit of a little nick at it right there. You can barely see it. And for all I know, it was just like that. It was made like that, for all I know. Because it doesn't look like something hit it. It just looks like it just looks like that part never molded right. So it could just be made like that. Because usually when balls get hit, they have like discoloration and stuff. That's still just the same blue color. Okay, don't whistle, that's fine. If I ever get in an emergency, I won't depend on you. And here's one of the definite 1950 era's bottles because I looked these up. And if for anyone that watched my short update video of that spot, there's this one because this is the one that had the lettering sticking on the back side. This bottle, not to be sold or traded. And this is a Ham St. Paul, a rather rare bottle from my understanding. It wasn't a cork top. I was hoping it was a cork top. It's not. It's just one of these. But let me pull out another bottle that I was trying to reference it to. Hope I won't break any more of my bottles. I thought it was kind of like one of these, my Volblats, because it has kind of that bottle not to be sold on it thing going on. So I was hoping this amber bottle was going to be as old as this one, because this one here has the, as you can see, that style mouthpiece up here. That's the Volblatz Brewing Co., Kansas City, Missouri. SB and G Co. And I found this pretty much in my backyard. Close enough. It's only like a couple houses away, a couple yards away from my backyard in a tree line. So this video isn't about this bottle, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that up. All right, so back onto the ham. It is unfortunately pretty roughed up, scuffed and all that stuff, but this was in a really crappy location when I found it too. It was packed with a bunch of heavy, dense material around it, and in fact, this was the neighboring bottle that was like connected right to it. In the video, if you watch it, you'll see that this one was sticking out and the bottom of this was sticking out, and this one was sticking out kind of like this. And that's what this one is. It's this big weird cork top one. So I'm gonna start digging in the directions these were in the ground, and I'm hoping to find more old ones like this out there. And the last highlight bottle, which is my Civil War era bottle, I haven't got to yet. But yeah, there is this again. Try to stay focused. So I wonder if I can get to this Civil War bottle, because this video should not have lasted this long. God, why does this always happen? But this says 16, looks like an S and a 1. I'm not sure. But again, this one's pretty scuffed up. And it does have almost broke out pieces on the bottom here, tragically. But they're still in there enough to where they're not going to fall out. And it's, I mean, you never know. I'll probably drop it or something, or yeah, stop. Yeah, I need to stop. I know, sorry. But hopefully nothing happens and this piece doesn't like fall off. But it's not like there's no actual visible crack. So, and this is a thick amber jar, so hopefully it'll hold together. To look like something impacted it here and just kind of fractured it, but didn't actually completely break it off and didn't cause enough damage to break it out completely. Or as hell, it could have been manufactured like that for all I know. Nah, with all the damage on it, that's something hit it right here. Thankfully, it didn't break it out. But as you can see, it's got kind of a lumpy glass feel right there. This is an old amber. I don't know. This was roughly dated to be 1915 from what I found. It looks older than that, but I mean, with this mouthpiece on it, I guess that would hold fairly true. Unlike my Volblats, that's definitely the late 1800s or very early 1900s. Yeah. So there's my ham St. Paul. Gives them a little bit more screen time, and then I'm gonna try to get to the Civil War era bottle, which everything I've seen points to Civil War era, so 1860s. I know I keep talking up like this, like it's this super amazing thing. It is cool, but you're gonna see it and you're gonna be like, oh, huh. Because when I found it, I was just like, oh, there's okay, I guess. And for anyone that's watched that video all the way through, if you've been watching the bottles I've been showing and found in that video, because I showed the ones I find generally, and it was one I showed, and if you haven't seen it yet, you'll probably figure out which one it is. But this poor thing is pretty roughed up. But hopefully I'll find more of these in better condition, or just other various old bottles like this. Because I do know that these ones with these types of embossings on them are definitely on the older side, no matter what. So, this bottle is roughly 1850s, give or take. I'll go and move on from that and get on to the highlight and get this video over with. The bottle I've been waiting to show. And here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it is this one. This is my Civil War era bottle. I know, it's such a simple looking bottle. But every time I've looked this thing up, and I cross-reference multiple different sources, and it all comes back to this is a cathedral pickle jar bottle. You heard me correctly, a cathedral pickle jar bottle. And these were 1860s era, basically the Civil War era. And of course, in the video, I'm like, oh, what is this? There's nothing to work with. It's so simple looking. Ooh, I'm happy I kept it. I could have wrote this thing off. If this thing didn't have the weird faded seams I always go off about, I don't know if I would have grabbed this. But I used the Google Lens thing. I know. And it popped up a bunch of stuff, multiple different sources, everything saying Civil War era, and it is a cathedral pickle jar. Yeah, like cathedral. Weird, right? And this is now the oldest bottle in my collection. And it's in rather good shape, considering where it was found. And if you watch the video, you see me finding it. digging around, scraping, and my little pry bar thing ran across it, like barely grazed the top, scraped it, like, you know, it made contact with it, and I heard it, and I'm like, what is that? And I brushed it, and I was like, oh, there's a bottle there. So thank goodness I didn't use that. You know, my I need to clean this thing still, but thank goodness I didn't hit it with this and break it. I came damn close. Because the only part that was sticking out in the video was one of the sides. This is like this and dirt. Like all you saw was this part. And I went right across with that damn little pry bar. Thankfully I didn't break it. But if you want to go ahead and look it up and do your own research on these, just look up Cathedral Pickle Jar. You'll see. It'll all come back to Civil War era. And there's other various forms of these with really nice embossings on them and other cool things like that. But mine is on the more simple side. But look at this old seam right here. That is a big seam. A definite giveaway to how old this bottle is. I mean, look at this seam. That's a big fat seam. I guess that's a dead giveaway that this is definitely an older bottle, because handmade bottles have big seams. And that thing is big. You catch it with your fingernail. And the other seam is actually, this one's even bigger than that one. They're pretty inconsistent. No, this one's bigger. Try to capture that big gnarly seam in there. There it is. Look at that thing. That is a humongous seam. Mold seam. In fact, this whole piece is where the seam went over and connected to this part. Focus. There we go. If you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. That's a big seam. And yes, it is a seam because it goes up and gets kind of gnarly right up here. So this is the Civil War artifact of the area. I mean, I've been in this area poking around for about roughly 15 years now, and I've heard stories from locals and old heads around the area that they used to go in the hills out here across the, you know, on the other side of Rock Creek, and they said they found Civil War memorabilia, like cannons and like cannonballs and other things tucked away in the rocks and hills, the rocky environment out here. And yeah, I was like, I didn't know if I should believe them or not, because I've never seen the evidence. I haven't found shit. But if what I saw about this bottle is true, then, well, here it is. Here's my proof that these people weren't lying. So, Civil War era stuff is sprinkled in this neighborhood. There's really nothing on the bottom. I haven't even shown the bottom yet. Jeez. It's got like this weird divot. And it's got these markings on each corner. I guess some bottle historian guy pointed something out about those being on there. But that could just very well have been because of this being picked up and down, you know. But I guess that could be some of the machining marks when they made the bottle that left these scuffs on the corner. Something of that nature. They look pretty inconsistent. I would say that's just wear from being picked up and set down, moved around on surfaces. But whoever would have thought my oldest bottle in my collection is a damn pickle jar? Always picking on the food containers, and I find my oldest bottle happens to be my most unique one now. In the sense of just historia and its dating of roughly 1860s. It's got that natural blue in the color, natural blue color in the glass, which also helps you date these bottles as older, because I guess that was a thing that was just a byproduct of making glass in the 1800s. And then they found ways to take the glass, the colors out, and make them clear. But before, I guess, the colors would just be naturally in there like that until they found a way to get the coloring out. However that process went. Got a nice blue in it. So yeah, here it is, the highlight of the video. And the find entirely all together. All the other balls are awesome. And there's, you know, with the exception of these ones. Let me go and get these straight jokes. I'm about done with this video anyway. So with the exceptions of mainly those ones and my ham here, well, it's not really working too well, is it? Probably, oops, I'm gonna set down there, pick up and set it down. With the exceptions of these bottles here, I know, what a really high quality video this is. With the exception of those and a few others, really those are the main finds of this spot so far, are these 4. Though I could easily just throw in, like, this one's cool because I like collecting the old medicine bottles, and this is probably my oldest one now, and I don't have any more of those in my collection, so I could easily slap this one in here. That's a cool find. I guess really this old Listerine bottle can go on ahead and get put in here as well because it's an old cork top Listerine, machine made, but still old, my oldest one. And other than that, those are pretty much I think the finds that are going to make me keep going back to this spot. I mean, I'm going to keep going back regardless, even if I didn't find these. But these ones here definitely have me sold on this area because I have a lot of area to clear out in this spot. I've only been in one little area in this spot. I haven't gone anywhere else to look yet. Haven't had to because I've already found these. But now that I know there's Civil War era stuff out here, you can bet your ass I'm going to be going back out there and trying to find more. And for anyone that might have missed it, just look up Cathedral Pickle Jar. And you'll see this pop up, and then every place will have it listed as Civil War era. 1860s. No higher than 1880s. Just that's, you know, Civil War era. So roughly 1860s, give or take. Ooh, Jesus. Yeah, just sorry about that. Golly, my Butterfingers, boy, I'm gonna have to wrap these bottles up in something. God, that's so sad. Anyways, and of course I can't fit any more up here, but those old Heinz jars and containers definitely seem to be old and cool. But these ones are the main highlights of my finds, as I keep repeating now. And yeah, I guess with that, I'm going to end this video. There's my Cathedral Civil War era bottle. There's my early 1900s, more than likely early 1900s medicine bottle with a cork top. There's this immaculate laxative bottle. God, I find a lot of laxative bottles out there. It's amazing. But that is a thread top, so that's probably more like 1500s. Not 1500s, 1950s. Apologies on that. But this one's definitely not as old as probably some of these ones up here, but it's still really cool and really good shape. But of course, the Cathedral Pickle Jar is the say no more. Oh wait, apologies, I forgot to show other things I found out there. They were off to the side here and I missed them. Great, this video is going to drag on for another 3 hours. That's a joke, it shouldn't take that long to blast through these. But I'm going to just go ahead and leave these cool old jars in the background because I absolutely can. So Why not? Make a cool little prop with these while I'm doing this. Cool beans. Listerine. Okay. And there I got these. Let me get these out and kind of staged up off to the side here. If you're going to watch my video, you're probably aware of what I forgot to add, because I've made very clear note of these in the video when I found them. Okie dokie. And here we go with these. I found little... Hang on, let me do it this way. Dun dun dun. Little Japanese-made porcelain figurines. This is when I did the Googlings on it, these popped up as little Dutch boys. And they're made in Japan, so they're Japanese-made China porcelain. And for anyone doubting me here, made in Japan. It doesn't say occupied Japan, but... And someone listed these as 40s or 50s, and I don't think that's accurate. I think these are more 20s or 30s. Because of the bottles I've been finding seem to be more around the 30s down. More or less around the 30s. So, and these were buried in further than most of the bottles. So, you know, archaeology would say these are older than 40s. These are not 1940s and they're not 1950s. There's just no way. These are definitely older than that person was saying. Because only one person I found mentioned a date for these, and they said, I think they're from the 40s or 50s. Because they don't even know. They said probably. But I'm going to say right now, these are probably way older. Well, not way older, but definitely not from the 40s or 50s. Because if you see these bottles behind me, 1950s roughly, early 1900s, roughly 1860s, actually don't really know. Actually don't really know, and actually don't really know. But I did manage to date these two with certainty, as certain as I can get it. This is roughly 1950s, roughly 1915, and this is roughly 1860s. And these little guys were further in the ground than these. So, take that how you want, but I think these things are being misdated. I think this little Dutch boy Japanese-made China porcelain figurine is older. And don't kid yourselves, boys and girls. I got the little Dutch boy, and you wouldn't even believe it. You just can't make it up. I also have his little clay pills. I have to restring them and hang them off his little things. Look at that. I even have the complete set. I have his little water buckets. Because he's got a little carrying stick right here, and he's carrying little water buckets. I even found these. You just can't make it up. Little handmade buckets. So I got that. And we'll get him out of the way. These are all unique because they're handmade. Handmade China porcelain. Let's get a little close up on this guy first. And this is the Dutch boy. I don't have the girl, unfortunately. I didn't find her. Because there's another caricature in this set. I guess it's the little Dutch girl and the little Dutch boy. They're both carrying, I think, these little water stick things with the buckets. But, this is a pretty interesting find. I think I'm going to give these to my mom. She can put them in the china cabinet she's got. I think she'll like that. Little hand-drawn face. So there's this little Dutch boy. Made in Japan. I'd say this is rather rare. And considering the fact I dug it out of the ground and it's in this good of condition, I will absolutely take it. So this spot I found by far is probably the best spot I have found so far. So, say no more, say no more. I'm definitely going to be busy in this spot for a long time. And we'll see how these finds go. I'm looking and take this dude's head off because my shovel, when I had that big two-handed little miniature shovel, I was scraping out the wall and I went right past his head. I came so close to taking his head off, I hit the dirt and his head popped out. And I was like, oh, look, there's a little thing sticking out. If you watch the video, you can see his head pop out of the dirt. I'm like, what is that? But yeah, there's the one little Dutch boy. And you can't make it up. You just can't make it up. Dun 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 dun. I found another little Dutch boy. I found two of them. And this one has a more complete painted on face. Or hand drawn on face. But I have another little Dutch boy. However, either or of them does not have their buckets. I only found two. And they're supposed to have two each. So I have not found his buckets. Maybe I can go back that spot and knock on wood and I might find them. That's very unlikely. I mean, I'm lucky I found the two I did. In fact, one of these buckets was actually tucked inside of this. When I found it, it was packed in there with some dirt. And I found one of the buckets the night I found these. I didn't know what it was. I just picked it up and was like, what is this? And I set it up with the broken glass, the pile of broken stuff. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know what that is. I'm going to set it up there. Thank God I did set it there. Because once I got home, cleaned them up, and I started doing the Google Lens thing on these, I found out that these were buckets. Actually, no, it was when I was cleaning them. I found out one of these was because like I said, one of these was tucked inside. I took it out. I was like, that's a little bucket. And then I was like, wait, the other thing I found, I saw the one I found. I was like, wait, that's the other one I found. I found there's another one of these. So I went back earlier, got it, and thankfully I was able to find it, and I brought it home. And I think it was this one. Because this one was the one that I found outside of the dirt separately. Because this one has the rust on it or something. Haven't quite cleaned it off yet. I don't want to break it either, so I'm just going to have to carefully get that off at some other time. But I did manage to go back and find it, so thankfully I didn't just go well, I don't know what this is, and toss it off like I usually do. Normally I just toss things off and just write it off, whatever. Yeah, I had this weird feeling just to set it up there on top of the ridge where I was digging. I'm like, I'm just gonna set you up here, and that's pretty much what I did, thankfully. But back on to the little Dutch boy, because there is a little actual show and tell info there on that, finally. And as you can see, they're different because they're handmade for the most part. There's variations in them. They're roughly the same, but hand cast nonetheless. But he's got the made in Japan as well. And yeah, basically it's the same thing as the other one. I mean, look how good these came out. Being buried in the ground for however long they were there. I'm not going to assume or pretend I know, but they were like 2 feet in the ground. And they cleaned up nicely. Little Dutch boy. And now we can get on to these. People will probably get a real kick out of these if they manage to make it this far. Probably won't. That's their problem. Who gives a fuck? Sorry, who cares? I found a bulldog, which is porcelain and Japanese made. Why do I say Japanese? because it says it on there. Japan. So this is a little porcelain bulldog. I'm not sure what it went to. It looked like it was on something, a base at one point maybe. But nonetheless, it's in absolutely immaculate shape as well, all things considered, as I always say. Let me look at this guy, the little bulldog. I think my mom's gonna like these. If I decide to do that, probably will. More than likely will. She has a china cabinet, and these will look so much better in the china cabinet instead of just being tucked away with all my other stuff I find. Because I don't know where I'm going to put these. I don't trust these around me. I'll end up breaking the damn things or something. I'm a freaking walking accident, so. As was witnessed earlier in the video, where I actually broke two of my oldest bottles. Some of my oldest bottles, like a fucking jackass. Oh my god. Woo! Stop thinking about it. Anyway, looking at this and seeing this makes, kind of makes me feel better, so let's just focus on this. So I got a bulldog. He's made in Japan one last time. No sense in spending too much time on that. And seeing as I found all these pocketed in the same little area, I would imagine these are all porcelain and Japanese made in Japan. This guy only has one eye left drawn on. This little puppy dog here. Maybe an old faded blue spot he had. There's nothing in there. I haven't seen anything that says Japan on this one yet, so. But I'd wager, since these look, as you can see, and they're all in the same part of the ground, so I would imagine these were a set of some sort. So I got this little puppy here. Yeah, I think that might just been like some faded blue, and it looks like he might have had some on his ear, maybe. Got a little bit of rust on there. Don't want to damage it, so I'm just going to let it be, I guess. Little puppy dog. Then, this is kind of an odd one. You'll see here why in a minute. Another puppy. Just a dog. Well, if you call it a puppy, but just a doggy dog. Let's say that. And this says Japan on it. Kind of hard to see, but it does say Japan right there. Really hard to see. Right there is about probably as good as it's going to get, but it says Japan. So another little porcelain China made dog. He's got a red spot. All right. And there's another one. Just to get the point across, I'll leave that one back there. So I'm not pulling up the same one multiple times. Not that you'd probably think that, but just for my own peace of mind, I'll just go ahead and set him off back there. Because I found 3 of these. Pretty much identical. Besides the hand-drawn on qualities of them and castings. This one also says Japan, obviously. This has a little bit of stuff on there. I could probably clean that off. Oh yeah, I can get that off with my finger better. Yeah, I'll spend more time on that later. But just another dog. And there's the third one. Cool. Little porcelain China-made dogs from Japan. Dug out of the earth. Oh no, Butterfingers. See, that's why I need to give them to my mom. These things are not safe in my hands. Well, I wonder if these were. I wonder if these were mounted on like a little base of something at one point. So there's that dog. And the last one. Not even sure how I'm gonna do this one. Is this absolutely tiny little puppy dog here, standing on its hind legs with its two front paws up. Actually, let me see if I can't do this so you can see. Get my hands out of the way so you can see what he's doing better there. Looks like he's begging or wants attention. And little dog man there. So really, I can probably just go on ahead and in this video here finally. It's not meant to last 3 hours. But of course, that's just how my jank videos seem to always go. I do apologize for the absolutely ridiculous length of these videos, because I guarantee you no one watches them. Not all the way through anyways. They'll probably watch like 5 minutes of them like, dude, this guy's insufferable, and just piece the fuck out. But there you go. I apologize to the utmost degree for my drug out videos. I do not plan for them to go this long. Probably the lack of planning is why this happens every time. I apologize. I can't apologize enough, because I know people don't like long videos, but guess that's just going to be how my videos go. I don't know what else to say. So I guess with that in mind, these are the highlights of my find right here. Absolutely the highlights. And that's going to be that. And I hope you enjoyed, and until my next findings, you know, until I go back out there essentially and get rewarded my next findings and I clean them up and show them, I guess that will be it for this video, because I do plan on just focusing on this area now. I don't have any reason to go anywhere else. South Oak Park can probably just fuck off for a while. So I can just walk down the street or just walk a block away roughly, and boom, hopefully I find more cool stuff like this, because I still have a lot of area to check and poke around and dig around in. So got my work cut out for me for sure. And with that in mind, this is finally it. Hope you enjoyed.